Hey guys, welcome to Smack Talk Wrestling's WrestleMania top 10 matches. That is right, we're looking at my personal top 10 favourite WrestleMania matches. Now, before we get into it, I just need to put a disclaimer out there before the pitchforks and everything comes out. These are my matches, these are the matches I think are the best. Now there might be reasons for it, and trust me guys, trust me, I know there's going to be better matches than what's on my list, but these are my personal ones and I'll explain why they're in this list for each and every single one of them. So please enjoy, and remember to like, subscribe and press that bell to keep notified. Now let's get on with Smack Talk's top 10 WrestleMania matches. And number 10 spot, it's a bit of a cheat guys, I'm sorry, I know what you're gonna say, but yeah, I'm already cheating and it's already the first entry. Number 10 is Undertaker versus AJ Styles in the Boneyard match, and John Cena versus The Fiend in the Firefly Funhouse match. Okay, I can already hear people going, what the hell? They were just last year. They were pandemic matches. How the hell can you put those in your top 10, you know, WrestleMania matches? And simple reason is 2020 sucked. It did. It was a very bad year all around. And one of the first victims of this pandemic, of everything shutting down, was WrestleMania. Practically unknown. It was literally rumours going around, WrestleMania's getting cancelled. WrestleMania isn't going to happen. WWE came out and said, we're not going to have it any live fans, we're not going to be in a big arena, we're going to the Performance Centre. And everyone went, oh god, what are we going to get for WrestleMania? Because WrestleMania, no matter if you're an AEW fan, a New Japan fan, or just a WWE fan, WrestleMania is still one of the biggest highlights in wrestling calendars. And having that pretty much be cancelled was scary. And let's be honest, these two matches were the only real highlights. Yes, we saw Drew win the title of Brock Lesnar, which was great, but actually taking your mind out of worrying about going outside, because God, remember that? Well, we're still living through that. We literally were worried about going to the shops, going anywhere because of a pandemic, and WWE took our minds off it in 2 matches. And that's why they're in here, because literally I have gone back and watched both those matches more times because they are entertaining. AJ Styles versus The Undertaker literally created one of the best memes of 2020, and we're still using it now. I will put an image of AJ Styles' meme now. And my god, we got something we never thought we would see. NWO John Cena. I still want to see it in real life. I don't want it in the Firefly. I want to see it in the ring. I want Cena to come back as Hollywood Cena. I want that. I will pay big money to see that. And just having a little bit of that, it's like the biggest tease WWE could have ever done to us, but it was absolutely brilliant. So this is why both the Boneyard match and the Firefly match are number 10 in my top 10 WrestleMania matches. Number 9, it is Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 35. I know what you're thinking, hold on, another recent WWE match. What is going on here? I thought this was meant to be the top 10, you know, best WrestleMania matches. And I get it, I honestly do. But this was such a big moment. I'm sorry, I remember watching this match and going, yes, yes, I flew back from Prague on the day of WrestleMania, and we flew back, and we literally landed when the kickoff show just started. I remember watching it in the car because I wasn't driving. I was one. It was just I wasn't going to drive, and two, I can't drive. But mainly, I wasn't going to drive while watching, while WrestleMania was on. I watched WrestleMania in the car. I was the worst person on planet Earth, especially when my mate was driving, and she literally looked at me and went, "Oh, we're not going to talk." And I was like, "I'm literally watching WrestleMania." And watching that match, I got in, literally unpacked, threw my suitcase in the corner, put my TV on, just in time to watch Kofi Kingston versus Bryan, and oh my god, what a match. I think the build up for the match was absolutely brilliant. It was just that feel good factor. Everyone wanted Kofi. Kofi Mania was running wild. The fans were just the attitude and the belief of Kofi Kingston becoming WWE champion. And when he finally did it, and you just saw it, like the whole crowd just erupted in pure enjoyment, and you just like, oh yeah, this is such a big moment in history for WWE. But it's just a big feel good moment, and that's what you want in WrestleMania. You want those big moments which make you feel great. I remember messaging everyone like, Kofi Kingston's won the title, and people text me like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, go to bed. And it was just literally brilliant, and it made me feel good. It was a great factor, and all the extra bits which came out afterwards, where you saw MVP watching his match as well, in tears when he won. That's something special. So for me, number 9, Kofi Kingston winning the WWE title. Entry number 8, and I'm already feel like I'm gonna have pitchforks thrown at me for this. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25 and 26. And I know people are gonna go, "What are you going on about? This is the best WrestleMania matches ever, and you've put it only in number 8. What is wrong with you?" And I can feel it. I can just feel people just getting more angry with this list. What more can I say? Yes, it is the best WrestleMania matches. I agree. I loved every second. I loved the build up for both matches. The rematch where Shawn puts his career on the line. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. As a fan, you just turn around and went, you wanted Shawn. There was a bit of you like, I want Shawn to win. But when he didn't, it was like, oh my god, Shawn Michaels he's got to retire now. And just the storyline between the two was just brilliant, and it is one of those feuds which is going to go in WWE. It's going to go into wrestling, not just WWE history. It's going to go into wrestling history as one of the best feuds in I would say modern day wrestling. Like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, you couldn't buy a better rivalry. And the dead man felt like a titan, and Shawn Michaels felt like he literally was, in the back of your mind, like Shawn Michaels is still one of the best wrestlers in the world. You got Undertaker, who is just amazing. He's just a phenom. He's just one of the best, and you don't know who to root for. There were bits like, I remember watching both matches, and both times I switched between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. That's how you know it's a good match, when you can't stick to one man you want to see win. At both times you're like, I just don't know who to... Go Taker, go Shawn, go both of you. Number 7 is no real surprise. He is nicknamed Mr. WrestleMania. And again, Shawn Michaels features in this list. It is Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Ooh, if you got matches which make you feel good, like Kofi Kingston versus Bryan, then Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair just literally pulls on your strings, heartstrings. It's just, oh, I remember watching this match and going, you know, Ric Flair, you were thinking to yourself, Ric's gonna retire here. You know, you were going, Ric Flair, the nature boy, you know, he's gone through the 80s, the 90s, you know, 2000s, and you're just like, the guy is literally a legend. Even, you know, right now he's still a legend, but just absolutely every bit of this. And it wasn't the best technical match, it just had everything. You had Shawn crying, you had Rick on the floor like, God. I mean, you just see the, I'm sorry, I love you. And it's like, that's like the scene from Armageddon, like when Bruce Willis goes, you're always a son to me, and, you know, throws Ben Affleck back in the show. It's kind of like that, but with Shawn Michaels, you know, switching music in Ric Flair in the face. But it was still, it just, like, there was a bit of me like, you know, you just didn't want to believe that Ric Flair was going to retire. There was like, there's that always that part of you like, oh my God, Ric Flair's going to retire. Oh my God, you know, it was just like, it was an end of that chapter of kind of certain wrestlers. And for me, seeing Rick retire, true, he did go back to, he did have some more matches in Impact, but we don't talk about those. But yeah, it's a match which pulls on your strings. You see Rick and his family and all that lot. Brilliant match. So for me, number 7, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair. Number 6 is one of my absolute personal favourites. I put this in my top 10 lists for every single match. You know, when I get a chance to do my top 10 all-time favourite matches, it's Mick Foley versus Edge. Yes, it has one of my favourite wrestlers of all time. Actually, it has 2 of my favourite wrestlers of all time. Mick Foley, who I absolutely, when I was a kid, I was terrified of Mankind, and then Edge, who became not just one of my favourite wrestlers of all time, just became one of my favourite human beings of all time over the years. So it's just absolutely, it's one of those matches where I remember watching this on, I think it was one of the first WrestleManias I watched on DVD. Yeah, kids, we had DVDs back then, and I just remember watching it on DVD and like, gee, because, oh my God, it's just one of those ones where you still look at it and you go, how are both men alive? You know, you look at Foley, you look at Edge, and you just go, oh my God, it's got everything. You got Lita, you got a flaming table, you got Edge just going absolutely, like, it's literally, I think this is what Foley does, and he did it with Randy Orton as well with these hardcore matches, was he pushed a young superstar to the absolute limits, and Foley would never win these matches, but he put over a talent, and that's what he did with Edge. Edge was already the rated R superstar. He was becoming, at that time for me, he was becoming the #1 heel in the company, and having that match with Mick Foley, probably the most loved legend you could have a match with at the time, it just worked, and it was just such a, you know, I remember watching that match and going, how are both men okay? How are both men okay? And, you know, it's always funny, I always remember the story, Mick Foley tells the story all the time, and I'm going to repeat this story, where he got backstage, his wife's there, and she goes, is Adam okay? To Foley, he's been thrown through a flaming table, but is Adam okay? It's not, it's like, and it's just brilliant. So for me, like I said, number 6, Mick Foley versus Edge, just absolutely one of the best hardcore matches I've ever seen, and one of the best WrestleMania matches I've ever seen. Number 5 is a match which I honestly never thought when I was growing up as a kid that you'd think, oh my God, this is going to turn into a pay-per-view. And it did. It turned into one of my favourite pay-per-views every year. And that is the Money in the Bank match. Edge versus Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho versus Christian versus Shelton Benjamin. First things first, let's look at that lineup. You had Edge probably. It's the evolution. Again, I keep saying this is when Edge was starting to turn more into the ultimate opportunist. You had Christian, just absolutely brilliant heel at the time. He was a strong mid-card heel. And you had Shelton Benjamin, just a young upcomer who just, you know, finished being in Team Angle, was really coming more and more of his own. And, you know, he'd been out of Team Angle. And then, yeah, Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho's just, no matter what he does, where he goes and what he does, he's such a talent. He knows talent and he knows how to work a match, and it's one of those matches he really well worked. And there's Chris Benoit, and I don't really want to talk about Chris Benoit, but yeah, all of them brilliant talents in the ring, and it was just such a brilliant match. And now I know what you're thinking. It wasn't really one of the best matches of all time at WrestleMania, and I get that. But the reason I put it in here is because we didn't know what WrestleMania was, what the Money in the Bank suitcase was going to evolve from that WrestleMania. We didn't even know the concept back then. Like, I remember watching this. We watched it a few weeks later, and the build-up. I remember with my friends, and we're all still asking that question of what can they do with this Money in the Bank? How does it work? How, you know, all these questions were being asked. Do you cash in at a pay-per-view? Can you cash in at this? We didn't know. No one knew. No one knew until Edge cashed in at New Year's Revolution on Cena, and like, it was just, you know, this. It's just amazing how this one match, which blew up because there was so much talent who didn't have anything to do at WrestleMania, goes on to being one of the best pay-per-views we get a year, which is just outside the top 4 pay-per-view, you know, the big 4 pay-per-views for WWE. So for me, brilliant match. Every guy was fantastic, and I remember watching. This is the reason this is in my top 5 list, in my top 10 list. Sorry, it's number 5. The reason it's in the top 5 is this memory. We're at my friend's house. We're all watching it in his living room, and everyone was kind of like, oh, like, I remember one of my friends like, Shelton Benjamin's going to win this. One of my mates was like, no, it's going to be Chris Jericho. It's his match. He's winning this. And I went, Edge is going to win it. And climbing up, and he climbs up, and he just gets the suitcase down, and all my friends just like, this isn't fair. Like, why is Edge winning this? I felt, as you know, the amount of heat for Edge got for winning that, and then there's me going, because I got it right. I just was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. And that's the memory. That's one of the reasons these matches, like, if you have memories like that, it just helps with these type of matches. So for number 5 spot, the Money in the Bank suitcase match at WrestleMania 21. Number 4 is probably a match which will probably go into a lot of people's top 3, top 2 best WrestleMania matches. I put in number 4. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13, 1997. The reason it's in here is because it's such an iconic match. It is going to be in these in my list. But the reason it's really high up is because I remember watching it not in 97. I watched it in 98. And that's a year. It was a year after this match, and the reason I saw it was because we watched it on. We rented it from Blockbusters. I remember that, and we watched it at my cousin's house. Again, you watch wrestling with your friends and cousins and family, and like, I remember sitting down, and they were like, "There's a Stone Cold Steve Austin." Stone Cold Steve Austin in '98 was huge, and I remember like, oh my god, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart. Yeah, I watched that because you knew who Bret Hart was, you knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin. Steve Austin in '98 was the biggest thing on planet Earth, and you're like, I've got to watch this match, and I watched it, and I was like, it was that weirdness of 2 superstars who were in the mix of both one becoming babyface, one becoming heel. Bret was turning heel, but he wasn't. If that makes sense. The crowds were turning on him, and Stone Cold was becoming more babyface because the fans were getting behind him, and it's so weird because back in '98, people were cheering Stone Cold. You're like, oh, and it was the weirdest thing ever. And you watch this match, and it was just a clinic. And the reason it's got higher, because back in the day, I watched this match, I was like, oh, it's a good match. Blood everywhere. You was just like, oh my, you know. Blackman, the special guest referee. It was just a great match. And then you turn, like, it wasn't, as a kid, I don't think you appreciated it as much. And then you got older, and I remember rewatching. I've watched it a few times now as a fan, a much older fan, and you just appreciate the storytelling that Bret Hart, Stone Cold are putting in this match. Like Stone Cold refusing, he never taps out. Bret Hart putting him in the sharpshooter, blood coming down, refusing to tap, and it's just that ultimate thing of Bret Hart was declared the winner, but we all came out saying, well, we didn't win because Stone Cold's never said I quit. That's why. And it just worked. It was just a really well worked match, and it's the match I appreciate more when I got older as a WrestleMania match. And I think it's because you rewatch all classic WrestleManias if your friends just before WrestleMania. You know, when it gets around WrestleMania season, you always rewatch certain matches from WrestleManias, and this is always when we all pop on the telly and we all rewatch, because it is a classic. It is technically a good match. It's storytelling at its best, and it's the start of the Stone Cold Steve Austin period of WWE's Attitude Era. Number 3 is, I think it's not a surprise for most people, but it's in my top 10 list. It's Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Dave Batista, WrestleMania 30, New Orleans. Probably one of the most, what can I say? It's one of the biggest pops I've ever heard at a WrestleMania in a long time. And the reason is, Yes-O-Mania. It was just, you had Daniel Bryan fighting against Triple H. First match of the night, and then going on, winning that match to take on Randy and Batista to win the WWE title that night. And you just, as a fan, you were rooting for Daniel Bryan. Yes Movement was at its absolute peak. You just sat there and you're like, come on Daniel. And when Daniel Bryan was getting stretchered off, and you're like, you knew, like, at that point you knew it, in storytelling, it could either go two ways with WWE. They've made him look good by beating Triple H, so now they can stretcher him off because he's been put through tables by Batista and Randy Orton. That's his night done. Or you can be like, he's going to get up, he's going to go Super Saiyan here and whoop everyone's ass. And he did. He came back and he kicked people's asses for it. And as a fan, you turn around and you just go, oh man, I want to. It was just a feel-good moment. You know, like Kofi Kingston's match against Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 35 was a feel-good moment. Daniel Bryan winning the WWE and World Heavyweight titles at WrestleMania 30 off Randy Orton and Batista, because no one wanted Batista. Like, people did not want Batista to win the Royal Rumble, and yet he did, and like everyone was angry. And then somehow Daniel Bryan got himself in to this main event, and it was just a feel-good moment. And it's still, again, it's one of those matches you re-watch, you go back and watch, and that's a major factor for my list, is will I go back and re-watch these matches? And WrestleMania 30 is definitely one of those ones where I'll go back, re-watch and enjoy. So for me, number 3, Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania 30. Number 2 is probably one of, how can I say this? It's the most iconic match, I think, to ever happen in WrestleMania. It's The Rock versus Hollywood Hogan, WrestleMania X7. Remember going into this one, I remember I was Team Rock and I came out Team Rock, but I still cheered for Hogan as well for that match, and I think the whole crowd did. I think again, this is another one which you watched on VHS or you watched on DVD, and I think we watched it on VHS. And I definitely remember just absolutely losing it. Because this is one which we definitely got on a video, definitely watched on a VHS, because a friend of ours paid for the pay-per-view, his dad recorded it all, and we all borrowed the videotape so we could all watch it like the next day, or I think it was the day after next, because we're all fighting over this VHS tape. And I remember like the parents were like, just someone watch it at someone's house so we can all some peace and quiet, because we're all arguing over this VHS tape. And it was for that match. It was for Hogan versus The Rock. And it's, you know, WWE always do this whole thing where they overhype a match, but I remember watching that and be like, it's NWO Hogan. You know, it's the match. It's one of those rare times where, as a fan, you're like, I want to see WCW versus WWE, well, WWF, and this was it. This was WWE versus WCW. That was the best match out of it all, and it just worked. It just worked. And Hogan turning face after the match, The Rock showing respect to him, the crowd just going crazy. Listen to the interviews afterwards where you hear The Rock, who literally went out and like he went out as the babyface, and he was like, he couldn't work as a babyface because the crowd was so behind Hogan. He had to go, right, we're gonna switch it up. I'll work more heel, you work face, because that's how the crowd wanted it, and it worked. It literally worked. You could feel it. It worked. Hogan turning face and NWO attacking him afterwards. It all worked, and it is one of the most iconic matches, and it's still one of my best memories ever growing up as a wrestling fan, because I remember fighting over a videotape to watch that match. So number 2, Rock versus Hogan X8. Last but not least on my top 10 list, the number 1 spot is TLC 2 WrestleMania X7. Of course it's going to be on my top of the list. I am an E&C fan, I'm an Edge head. I am always going to be supporting Edge, and I don't care what people say. They'll probably go, that is completely wrong. Some people will go, yeah, it makes sense. TLC 2 was the best TLC. Full stop. It was the best TLC. You had Edge and Christian, you had with Rhino coming out, you had Spike Dudley coming out for the Hardy Board, for the Dudleys, you had the Hardys with Lita. Oh my god, it is literally, still to this day, I will watch that match at least once a year just because it's so good. And to be honest, I would probably watch it, let's be 100% honest, I watch that match probably 4 times a year. I say once a year, that is a lie. 4 times, I literally watch that match 4 times a year, because it's such a good match. When I'm feeling ill or I'm feeling low, I'll watch that match and go, damn, that was a good match, and it makes me feel better, and that's an important factor. And that, again, WrestleMania X7 was the first WWE pay-per-view, well, WWF pay-per-view at the time, which I watched live. It was one of the first ones I ever watched live as a child, and it was just such a great moment watching that and going, oh my god. Because I was a huge Austin fan, I was a huge Rock fan, I was a huge Triple H fan, but when I watched that match, I was a massive E&C fan, but it made me more entertained with the tag team division. The tag team division at its peak was at this time period, and just, what more can I say? It is iconic, it's amazing. E&C are always going to be the best tag team to ever exist. The Hardys are all almost up there as well, and the Dudleys up there as well. You know, it is brilliant. So for me, the number 1 spot, the best ever WrestleMania match of all time, TLC 2 WrestleMania X7. And there you go, guys, that is my top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time. Now, you can completely agree or disagree, that's absolutely up to you guys. I want to know though, what is your top 10 WrestleMania matches? Now, it could be none of these matches. Hell, I would be excited if it's something brand new. I really do hope that WrestleMania is as great as ever this year. It's been a hard year for everyone, so let's just hope that this year's WrestleMania is fun and exciting. We get a moment where we all just cheer, and that's the important thing, is cheering and having a bit of fun and taking our mind off what's happening around the world while all this is going on. Now, like I said at the start of this video, if you do like it, please remember to like, subscribe, press that bell to keep notified. And if you want to follow me on the old Twitterverse, it is at Boyze88. And please message me if you want to just talk about wrestling, because I am a huge wrestling fan like you guys. So I always feel happy to send me a tweet. So I'll see you guys next time on Smack Talks Wrestling's videos. Bye guys.